done like a 4 or 5 mile walk every day this week. And as you can see, he's just, that's the most he's ever done. Honestly, I probably nicked him 4 times all week.
Okay.
He's just been amazing.
Good. Yeah, I saw you walking over here.
Yeah.
And that looked good too.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell that, you know, it's going to be nice when we learn some commands.
Right.
Because I have to now, if he gets out of place, I have to, you didn't teach me how to do lefts.
Yeah, which we're going to cover today.
I got to walk in circles on my rights.
Yeah.
But he, man, I mean, he's had puppies jump on him. We've sat at the park yesterday. He was off his leash and he didn't move. And he walked up to somebody else.
Sure.
You know, I gave him a little nick. He came right back.
Sure.
Great.
Good.
Great.
Excellent. Yeah. So today, what we're going to do is I'm going to show me a quick review, right? What you've been doing.
Yep.
We're going to put a word to this, which is heel.
Cool.
And then we're going to work on the left turns, and then body language.
Okay.
So that Fitz can see what you're doing.
Right.
Right. Because when it's heel is much like dancing. You know, there's a leader and a follower. Same thing with the walk. The way that you move and utilize your leg movements actually tells Fitz what you're doing.
Awesome.
So the remote kicks in. So he has a concept of like walking next to you, which is one half, and he's learned to pay attention to you. The next half is, well, you have to communicate with him to let him know what you're doing. Otherwise, if you just turn left out of nowhere, like he's going to be caught off guard. You're going to knock him out. Okay?
Yeah. We've honestly practiced so much this week, and we've got such a solid foundation after last week. Everything you said is like what has been going through my mind of what we need to learn next.
Yeah.
So I mean, I already intuitively know. I'm like, God, we need to learn this heel command. Like you need to see, because you know I have to nudge him, or he needs to learn this stuff. But we've got such a great foundation built from last week. So.
Very good. So go ahead and show me just back and forth here.
Sure.
What you've been practicing. Okay. Great. Good. Yep. Now, is there a cap there?
No. I've been trying to only really use them when I need them. I don't know I didn't know how often I should be doing it if he's not exactly right, but he hasn't seemed to.
Good. Go to slow here. Slower and stop. Good. So I saw about 3 or 4 points where you could have picked them.
Okay.
So when it comes to the leash walking stuff, heel is a very black and white command. Okay. So when you issue the word heel, you have to keep it to the standard. Otherwise, if you give leniencies, right, is you end up giving more and more over the course of time, and then you undo the meaning of heel. Okay. So some things that I saw were initially when you went that way, everything was good, and then you started to slow down, and he began to pass you, right? But you kept going forward to a point where he's like, hey, you're not there anymore, and then he realized and kind of turned and shifted, and then you did your turn, and then you sped up, but he was still going off that way. Okay. So those 2 points was where I would have tapped them, because you want to keep them here as much as possible.
Okay.
Because people tend to go by pulling. They go, oh, my dog isn't as bad as they were, or they don't pull as much, right? But heel isn't about pulling or not, or that. It's about you're here.
Exactly.
So the walk that you did, let's say it's a leisurely walk,
Yeah.
and he's just kind of strolling next to you like that. That wouldn't matter. That I'll be like, yeah, that's fine. The moment you issue heel, it's this. Okay. So he's working. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I just don't know when to make. You know, I'm still getting familiar with when. I don't know when he's not doing exactly what I want. Yeah.
So go ahead and position yourself next to Fitz. Okay. His right shoulder next to your left leg. That's it. That is your visual. Okay. So when you're walking, it should be like that. Like if you're walking with someone and your shoulder to shoulder.
Got it.
Very much the same. Okay. So that's your visual. Excuse me. So now it's an easy tweak. But I can definitely see where you would have had to rarely remote him.
Okay.
Because he was picking it up, it just wasn't as fast as I wanted it to be. Okay. And especially if you're pushing for like off-leash control, you have to have very strict rules. Otherwise, here becomes over there. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add in the word heel. It's very simple. You're going to say the word heel first, and then you're going to move forward with your left leg. Okay. So heel, and then move forward. You'll walk a little bit, come to a stop. Fitz, come to a sit. You'll wait a moment. Heel, left leg, and I'm going to just have you repeat that a few times. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Do I get his attention or just say it?
Just say heel.
Okay. Heel.
And tap.
Oh, I did tap. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Keep going. The reason why I said tap is because he was distracted.
Oh, okay.
So what you're doing here, people have this thing about make sure they have the dog's attention, right? But you may not always have his attention. But what you want him to be able to learn is, hey, I might be doing something, but Dad might say something that I have to make sure that I'm still listening for.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Oh, completely.
That's
what we learned in class is that you got to get his attention, you got to get his attention.
correct,
Yeah,
right?
no, I get it. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I personally take advantage of the times where the dog is spacing out because I can catch them off guard, which makes them more in tune to you. Now, Fitz can be totally like ignoring you, looking over here. You say something and move, and he'll still catch on. Okay, but you have to develop that. So when you said heel and you started walking, he was sitting down, still looking the opposite way. Then I go, okay, boom. I just tap, bring him here, and he goes, I better start doing more attention. Okay, whenever you're ready.
So at the beginning of the heel, I don't tap.
No.
Okay.
If he moves with you, nothing. If he's delaying, then you tap.
Heel.
Yep, good. That was correct. Good, that's fine. Good. Tail. Good. Couple more.
Heel.
Yep.
Oh, am I supposed to be tapping him?
I'm just not sitting.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yep. That's fine. Good.
Heel.
Good. Nothing there. Good. Just at 5. Now walk slow here, but keep walking. Yeah, very slow, just like that. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Good. Go to pick up. Very good. Excellent. Go to heel, go to turn.
Heel.
Yep. Good slow stop. Perfect. Very good. Okay. So all you're doing here is conditioning that heel means everything that you did last week or the course of this past week and what you're going to be doing today as well. So heel is a package. It means walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. Okay. So if you come to a stop and he doesn't sit, you wouldn't say sit. That becomes a separate command. Okay. So as we advance and we teach more things, your new commands override the old commands. So if he was in the heel and then you said sit, he should sit, but now he's no longer walking. Okay? So you only say heel when you go from stationary to motion. Okay? So if you're walking with Fitz and he begins to pull ahead, you would just turn and tap. You wouldn't say heel when you turn and tap. Does that make sense?
Wait, say that again.
So you only say heel when you go from stationary to motion.
Okay.
Okay? So if you're walking with Fitz, he pulls ahead, you know, right now you do this, right? You turn, you
Yeah.
bring him here.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say heel there.
No. Okay.
You would just turn, tap, bring him here.
Okay.
The left leg is because dogs have a wider peripheral range than we do. So this becomes his visual cue of now we're moving. Okay. So more advanced training, left leg means walk with me,
Okay.
right leg means don't move. Okay. And it sounds fancy, but it's really just coordinating your movements and being consistent where the dog starts to pick up like, oh, okay, left leg means walk with dad, right leg means stay where I am. Okay? Questions so far?
No.
So now, the turns. People tend to do these turns naturally until I call it out, and then they...
We're going to move it to side.
Sure. Forward. And cap. There he is. Good. People tend to do these movements naturally until they have to think about it. Okay, so first with the left turns, or what I call crossover turns, okay, going towards Fitz, you're going to time it so that your right leg is going to turn in front of him. Okay, it's very important that you slow down prior to your turn. Okay, so if you're walking at a fairly brisk pace, you want to slow down at least 2 to 3 steps, and then at a 90-degree cut, you're going to step over with your right leg, left leg, and then cut again to your right leg, go back to the opposite way. Now, if you're just making a left turn, you would just cut and just go that way, but for the sake of space here, you're going to be making a squared off turn. And I like to use the sidewalk as my guide. So on a regular sidewalk, there are blocks, right? Is that if you make the cut on the crack and you stay within the sidewalk, it'll help your alignment. Okay? So in the beginning, it's very exaggerated to make it clear to Fitz that you're doing something so he can shift with you. Okay? If you do a soft right like this, and you step out with your left leg and Fitz is here, you're going to end up pushing him out. Okay? So that's why this right leg has to be very exaggerated at a 90-degree angle. And then for the about turns, or the right turns, which is what you've been doing all week, right? Which is just turn like that. Let's say you're walking with Fitz and you don't have the space to turn this way, but you need to go back. You would slow down again. Extend your left leg to rock back on your right leg, and then turn to go the opposite way. Okay? So left leg, back on right leg, left leg, and then going back the opposite way. Yep, like that. Correct. A lot of people, and go like this. Hold your left. Tap. There he is. That's fine. Good. Is they'll swing out their leg like this. Okay? That's incorrect. Left hand. Back to right. Okay? So we're going to do one turn at a time.
I need to be trained too.
Yeah, it's coordinating.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to have you first start with the crossover turn. Okay? So that's the left turn moving towards Fitz. Crossing at a 90-degree cut with that right leg. Okay. Left leg. Cut to the right. Going the opposite way.
Okay.
Okay? Alright. Questions?
No, we'll give it a try.
One last thing. If Fitz isn't lined up with you and he's ahead of it, don't try to do a left turn. Correct him.
Got it.
Bring him here. And then go to do the left turn. Okay?
Usually don't correct if I just slow down a little bit.
Okay.
Usually.
Whenever you're ready.
Good. Heel.
Yep, left. Right. Good. That's all right. Forward. You're good.
Oh, are you afraid, Mommy? Yeah.
Left. I'm sorry, right, left. Yeah, you got it. I messed you up. So it's right, left, right. I messed you up.
I was trying to figure it out on my own.
Yep, right, then
Is
left,
that okay?
then right.
My
There you go.
Sit.
Good.
Good job. You're so cute. Good job.
Right, left, right. Good. Good. Go to slow to stop there. Light tug back to calf. To your left. Yep. 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 Grab a little higher up by the next handle. Or pivot in now. There you go. Like that. Good. So, it's good. So it could be the right. So what's happening is you're going like this. You actually want to come out. So you're taking that step forward, okay? Like as if you're walking. So right, back, right. Okay. What you're doing is you're doing right, bringing your left here, and then turning, making it upward. Okay? Yeah. Try it again. Okay. Yeah. Nice. There you go. There you go. Much better. Much better. Yep. Good. Very good. Got a few more. Good. You're good. Yep. Forward. Good. Yep. Very good. Try a couple more. He's getting more comfortable. How's the wind? Fine? Yep. Much better. Yep. Good. You got a runner behind you. Good. Want to slow to stop? Okay. So what we want to do here, those turns are much better. Did you see how he started to move more with you? Where in the beginning he would stop, right? And he was like, I don't know what you're doing. It's very important that even if you stop, he's not in the way. So then he starts to pick up, stop, going on, and then he's able to pick up the turn. Okay. Sounds really good. So if we want to fix this here, see how he's like landing a little to the side, a little off here? Yeah. What I'm going to have you do is when you're walking, I'm going to have you perform the left turn. Okay. Before you do so, he's kind of spaced out. I'm going to have you just do an abrupt right turn, tap, bring him in to the left side. Okay. Okay. Now you're ready?
So just a couple lefts and then, or are we doing abrupt rights right now?
You're going to do a couple more lefts, but before, I'm going to have you do an abrupt right, tap him, bring him in closer.
Okay. Deal.
Let's just make a right turn here. Tap. Tap. Forward. Tap. Slow. A little better. Okay. Make another right. Tap. Tap. Forward. Tap. Tap. Good. Give a little slap here. Another right. Tap. Forward. Tap. 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 There he is. Right. Tap forward. It looks like dad says.
Yeah.
The reason why we want to fix that
Yeah.
is because in the future, as you make your left turn, if Fitz is all the way over here,
Exactly. It's not tight.
it's not gonna
Yeah.
move off. So what we're gonna try is as you move forward, I'm actually gonna have you shorten a little bit
Okay.
and pull. You're gonna pull in towards you as you're walking
Okay.
and tap to see if it'll bring Fitz in to that left leg.
Okay.
Okay. So like that close would be what I'm wanting.
Yeah.
Ideally, even
Yeah.
as
Me.
you walk.
Yeah. I am too actually. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Heel.
Tap, tap forward, tap forward.
So this sit.
Go ahead and turn to your right. Tap, tap forward, tap forward, tap. Now relax. There it is. It's a little better. Right there. Good. Now you can go back to your left turn. Good turn. Go ahead and pull in and tap. Left tap, pull in. Put in right turn. Tap, tap forward, tap, tap forward. What's your number? Okay. That's better. Very good. Nice turn. Yep. Tap, pull in. Tap, pull in. Tap, tap. Try right turn. Tap, 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 tap forward. Tap, 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 tap. Try 68.
Okay.
Good. Oh, yeah, it's a little bit loose. I tightened it up maybe about 2-3 notches. I remember his number was pretty high last time, but
Yeah, but then I went down. It was 65 at
Okay.
the end of the class.
and if you have pain at the home or anything like that,
Yeah, I used tape,
okay, yeah,
so I saw
I see.
your video.
Yeah, it looks better.
It's not too tight.
No, it's pretty good. It's like Jesse's here. Let's go and put it down. What's the lowest you were this week?
In terms of numbers,
Yeah.
I kept 65 all week, or 60 all week.
60? All right, let's go back down to 60 since we tightened it up.
Okay.
His face. Can you see his eyes?
Yeah.
His little squinty eyes?
Uh-huh.
All right, so there's a couple ways to fix the spacing.
Okay.
One is you can just keep doing those right turns, because in order to teach him to move in, you have to go opposite, right? So it's either if he's this far off, he's lining up to be fine. He just needs to close this gap.
All right.
You can either speed up to get him to come in like this, keep your pace, but when you pull in, you're gonna keep constant tension.
Okay.
And tapping until, and you're gonna feel him do this in the beginning, and I
Yeah.
can see him where he's pushing off.
Yeah.
It's called opposition reflex. So every time when a dog feels pressure, they go against it. So if you pull it to the right, he's gonna want to pull to the left.
Yeah.
And you keep the remoting until eventually he's learning going away from the tension is not working. And he'll come in and everything turns off, and he goes, oh. Because the tap, he should always think to moving closer. Okay. Or last thing would be, I keep making about turns, back and forth until eventually he he locks in here,
right there.
which might require more power. Okay, so questions about the left turn?
No.
They look much better. Okay, you can see where he's moving with you, he's picking up on your cues and everything. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and do the pivots, right? The about turns.
Okay.
So this only applies when Fitz is paying attention. Okay. So if Fitz is already passing you, you wouldn't worry about doing the foot and then going back like this. You would just turn and start tapping because you've already lost his attention, right?
Yeah.
These movements are when Fitz is paying attention to you. Okay. So when he's paying attention, you know, of course, you slow down a few steps, extend the left, back on the right with the left again, and then going the opposite way. Okay. Okay. So don't worry about the crossovers anymore. Okay. Now it's just pivots. Okay. Questions? No? Go ahead.
Okay. Deal.
Forward tap. Remember, slow down prior. Okay. So here, see how he's pulling the side tap. Now relax. Pull in a little bit, tap. Relax. Pull in, tap. Tap, tap. Relax. There we go. That's good. Now slow. Get ready to do a pivot. Left, right, left. I'm going to have you hold that step for a second, then another second, and then forward. Okay? You got your movements correct, more pronounced, okay? So walking, slow, left leg, right leg, left leg. With the last batch you're doing, we're kind of like this. There were small movements, so it was still too abrupt for him. Okay. So left, hold for a sec, right, hold for a sec, and then forward. Okay? And you should see Fitz, as you're doing this, start to turn with you, or like look at you to see what you're doing.
Because he knows I'm making a turn.
Yeah.
Yep, I got you.
Timmy, go ahead.
Yep.
Left, back on the right, left. Much better. That's good. Yep, back on the right, left. Good. Got it.
Easy. Yeah. You know? Ready?
Left, back on the right. Yep. Good. Very good. Now you see on that one how you went it off a little bit? That's because there was no slowdown.
Okay.
Yep. Back on the right. There you go. Very good. Good. Try for a couple more.
Yeah, he's going around the turn before I even make it.
Very good. Coming in closer to it. your turns. Okay. So half of heel is Fitz paying attention to you. Okay. The other half is you communicating with them to let them know what you're doing. Okay. So those things go hand in hand.
So more clear definition for me of heel is just starting.
Yes.
Okay.
Some,
so what about in middle of in movement when if he's not positioned right, then it's more of the adjustment with the neck.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
So like not a heel command.
Correct.
Because heel is only to start and you want him right here.
Yeah.
So we start walking at my knee.
Correct.
Okay, got
so,
it.
some trainers teach heel as a two-part thing, where like the dog will say heel, and the dog will come in like this to move beside him, to move it around, and then they'll say heel again to start it. And for me, that's two different things. Like my brain can't compute how a dog would go between the two behaviors. So for me, finish means come to heel. Okay. Heel means walk with me, stay with me, sit like that. Okay. So if you're walking, let's say Fitz is having a potty break, right? And he's done peeing, and you said heel and calf, then went like this. That's fine, because he's just coming straight here. It's not a very specific positioning or like movement.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's fine. Or a lot of people just prefer to like have their dog sit first, and then they'll get a position like this, heel, and then they'll walk. That's personal preference, right? As long as he's close to that left side and you say heel and start moving, he should just gravitate to that left leg. Okay. And the reason why we don't say, like when you said earlier, like you wouldn't pull in and tap him and say heel, right? Because you're already in the.
Exactly. Now I get it. Yep.
So it's really just reinforcing. Otherwise, you'll find yourself saying heel like 100 times for every little thing, right?
Yeah.
The more you use the remote now, the less you use it over the course of time.
Okay.
Okay. So being real strict, putting those rules on, and eventually he learns like, all right, this is heel, and as long as I don't do any of this other stuff, nothing happens.
Yeah, that's fine. I've been lazy with it all week, so.
No, it's fine. But I mean, I saw Fitz, and he was doing good.
Okay.
Right. I think you just hadn't recognized yet what other like the smaller things have so much big of a difference from before that it seems like great, right?
Yeah.
So it's really just tightening up those things. Stuff like this, I'm not too worried about right now.
Okay.
Because that may clear itself up as you work with him more.
Okay. Like what? Like in front of me, looking back at me?
Correct.
Okay.
Because he technically should be here.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is this is family pet obedience. Okay. Some people are like, Jesse, if this happens, like I don't care. Then I'm like, well, then I don't care, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not comfortable type of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you hold that and all this stuff is going on, he'll just be in that position and looking at you. Okay. But ideally, everything should always be right next to you, right shoulder to left leg. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you do all that stuff again, but now you're gonna kind of like freestyle it.
Okay.
Okay. So you'll be making left turns, right turns, pivots, slowing down the stops, initiating the heels, changing your paces.
Okay.
And if you have his attention and your communication is spot on, you shouldn't really have to touch the remote.
Okay.
When you do these turns, like the crossover turn, there's no remote there. Okay. When you do your pivot, as long as he's following you and turning with you, there's no remote. If he keeps going, you want a remote.
If I do leftover and he's not at my side, then I nick him, but not on the turn. Yeah, no, I got that. The nick is to get him where I want him.
Correct.
Yeah, not when I'm doing a command or anything. I get it.
Correct. Okay. Questions?
No?
Go ahead.
Ready? Okay. Yep. rights are kind of morphing into more immediate rights now instead of the slow ones that we did last back and forth.
Yeah. If that's right, I don't know if that's right or not, but.
You want to slow to stop here? Like right there, right? Yeah. Now that was an overshot.
Yeah.
So a couple of things changed in that little run for you.
Okay.
You just pointed one out. The rights are more or less are more immediate lefts, right?
No rights.
The pivots.
Yeah.
Okay. There was something that was incorrect there. Do you know what it was? You're going back to your shorter ones.
Okay.
So obviously these are very exaggerated.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to process.
Right.
A natural one would most likely look like this. Right. So you're just not delaying that second each step. It's more like a quarter to half a second. Right. But you weren't slowing down.
Okay.
So the reason why the slowing down will always be important is when you're on a regular walk, for the most part, you're going one direction, right? Maybe some turns here and there, but it's really just one direction. So if you just try to do this out of nowhere, after 10 minutes of going one direction, he's going to go, right? So the slowing down always happens with the turn as well. I mean, you can always, like if you're walking, you can always slow down just before the turn, and then pick up again.
Yeah.
Right?
In my head, I use the example that you gave last week. It's just like if you're turning your car.
Yeah, you're driving.
That really resonated with me.
Yeah. So that's permanent, right? Just like with driving, like it's permanent, right? Yeah. So that, and then for your left turns, is the same thing. You were forgetting the delay or the slowing down.
Okay.
And right now, because he's more focused, because we're in practice mode, we're in training mode, right? But when you go in real life, he's not going to be that attentive. So the slowing down is to catch his attention again. Should he go into autopilot and go like, what's going on? Oh, you're turning. Let me turn with you. As opposed to here, where he's like ready for every little thing. And you might find this, but this happens with pretty much everybody, is when I come back the third week, I'm like, how'd it go? Like, Jesse, much better, but I'm having troubles with the turn still. I'm like, you're not slowing down. I know you're not. Okay? So we're going to try that again. Same stuff, but remembering to slow down. I don't think you need to exaggerate the pivots as much as you were before. I think you're correct. You can start to shorten them a bit and make it a bit more natural, which would probably look something like that.
Yeah, I mean, but you understand before with the right, it was kind of like turn, and then I was doing my left to the right. I was not doing that exaggerated right. I wanted to
Correct.
Right after.
Correct. Okay. Yep, that's good.
Yeah.
Good turn. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, curved in. There you go.
Yeah, he doesn't want it. Every time we're going this way, he doesn't want to come in tight. You know, it's
the same slope as Boca, right?
Yeah.
I wonder why, if that's why he's angling out.
Yeah, maybe. Well, also, I haven't seen him going this way to pull in, but I think I'm going back at the pull to pull in. I don't know if he figured that
find, because it should be whenever we do like remote, how like substantial it is, the rate of that change.
Oh yeah.
Is during the week when you work with this and you're pulling in, if you find you're not getting this full change, I would just drop it.
Okay.
Because it's not working.
Okay.
If anything, you're just gonna probably have to pivot back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
To get them to lock in closer.
Yeah. It's interesting because it seems that though as I'm slowing down,
He comes in.
it comes in.
Yeah.
So maybe as we're walking, fine, walk a little bit.
And then keep an eye too, because if you go on your regular walks, that's what I care about the most.
Yeah.
Is when you go on, because this is not a normal route.
Right.
Right. So if you find on the normal route, he's right here,
Pretty close, yeah.
then it's like, all right, cool. I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty close. I mean, he makes mistakes, a bunch of them, but I don't. We only had 1 week, so I'm not trying to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because he's learning, you're learning,
Yeah, of
and
course.
then as you're learning, you're teaching him. Like there's going to be some consistency there.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, everything's looking good so far.
Yeah, I mean, he knows this is a trainer. He's a different dog to go outside without this thing on.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just like people, right? There's no absence of law.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do a few more of these movements. Okay. Yep.
I don't know how to get him closer when on this side.
Yeah, I most like this pivot
Okay.
when that happens. So
Okay.
let's say during the week, like you're working with them, I would focus on this here,
Yeah.
where if I ever see anything the dog's struggling with,
Yeah.
I use it, right? So let's say later on today you test this out.
Yeah.
You go for a walk, come down through here, and you're like, yeah, Fitz keeps going up that way, right?
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's because he wants to go back home.
Yeah. You're right. I can walk it down the side. Go this way, man. He's right there.
Sure.
The left side, no problem.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then what I would do is give slack.
Okay.
And the moment you see him go off, turn, and then you end up turning again.
Okay.
And then as soon as he's off again, you turn again. So you like get kind of dizzy right here,
Yeah.
but you're not giving him, because every time you take a step in that direction with him like this, you're reinforcing that position, right? So if I turn and it's right again, boom, back out there, and again, okay? It's a tiny thing. For me, it's not the hugest deal. Like I said, if 99% of the walk is perfect, but all of a sudden when you come back home, what I don't want is this, trying to go back home to the building.
I gotta tell you, so there's a spot right up on here on
Sure.
we get like within a block of that. He did kind of pull my arm off.
Sure. Yeah, he knows
After
the block.
training last week, and even walked right by it. He didn't even look at me. I mean, I actually had to stop, and then I said break,
Sure.
and I got a treat.
Sure.
Didn't even look at me.
Yeah, good.
Unbelievable. How
Good.
much, I mean, I can't believe there was that drastic of a difference that he walked straight by a tree.
Good.
It was really cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
excellent.
really awesome.
And it's all because it's not just like it's a part of the training, but also you, right? Because when I said 60 is high
Yeah.
for most dogs,
Yeah.
right? And many go by the personality type. Like, you know Fitz, he's very sweet, very friendly, right? There's no bad behavior, so to speak, like aggression, right? That logically speaking, unless people see an aggressive type behavior, they don't think the dog warrants a higher number. But I tell them it's not about that. It's about their personality type. Even though he's super friendly, he needs 60. Even though he's not doing anything aggressive, he needs 60, right? And that's why you're able to get such that drastic change, because you understood that and reinforced that, okay? Yeah. Dogs fight each other. So I tell everybody that, so they fight each other. And things like that, you can use to your advantage. You know, like if you walk, like you could, let's say you walk past another place that has cookies out for him, and he tries to go towards it, go back and forth, practice a couple of times, and then stop, you know, stay or whatever, grab a treat, attaboy, or break, and give him something.
It was just unbelievable. I mean, it was the first time. It didn't even, it's like, it didn't even phase him. Like, when you say, like, yeah, if he goes with here, I just remember seeing memories from it. He just did it automatically on his own. He just walked right by it.
Sure.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, no. A little discipline can go a long way. Very good. Okay. Questions about any of these terms and stuff?
Yeah, no, I get it. I just, again, it all gets boiled down to getting tight.
Yes. And about 6 inches is the space that I would give. Okay. Definitely when you start to hit a foot or more, it's a bit too far off. And then it kind of throws everything else off with the turns. And the farther off the dog is, the more likely they are to become like unintuitive with you, and then they'll start to get distracted. Okay, so think of heel as control. Okay, so let's say you're walking with Fitz, and it's a Sunday, and you just want to do leisurely walk. Okay, and you don't want to worry about keeping Fitz in a tight heel all the time. That's fine. You have your equipment just in case. You're walking with Fitz. It's a nice relaxed heel. But then you come to a couple of blocks, maybe there's a festival or something. A lot of people, and you want them tighter. Heel. That works. Now there's a lot more going on, that you don't want them just tugging at every other person or dog, people, or on the floor, dogs, what have you, right? So I personally always use heel for all of the walk. Unless my dogs run a break and they're running around being free, or I'm walking through a field where I can give them that freedom, it's always a heel personally. My dogs were far, I wouldn't say heel and start walking. I'd call them in first, bring them in, and then go into the heel like that, right? And we'll cover the recall as well as we go along. But like, let's say you're just walking with him, you know, it's a loose walk, and then you're like, oh, here's like a big festival, right? You come to a stop, heel, lock them in, and then you go through. But me personally, I always just utilize the heel, whether or not, you know, it's an open space, whatever, because that's just, I like having the discipline and the control. But the more you use the stuff, the more this becomes like kind of who Fitz is. So you still have Fitz personality-wise, like he's still a friendly, you know, kind of happy-go-lucky guy. But now he's just not going to be so impulsive. Because now you're practicing impulse control. We're going to walk by cookies, and you're not going to get it. Don't pull towards it, right? But when everything is like, oh, there's cookies, I know I'm going to get one, guaranteed, then you start to create these habits and impulses that become annoying over time. Okay?
That's why, you know, that's why I used what you did last week. I was walking by it about a good 10 feet, and then I stopped right to
Gotcha.
without obedience. I mean, we were obedient, but without obedience.
On the way
took a
to
break and we walked back and got a treat. That's good. But I purposely walked right by and did not stop.
Excellent. Yeah, and you and things like that, you know, other dogs, whatever, anything that you see Fitz start to get kind of excited for, use it to my advantage.
Yeah. Well, what's been good about the training so far? I mean, I understand how you're doing it. It makes sense.
Sure.
Logically.
Good.
So, I get it. Exactly what you said. If I walk up to him and I slow down and the treats are, he's going to get a treat.
Correct.
But I don't want him to know he's going to get a treat. He gets a treat, I tell him to get a treat.
Correct. Right. And it's not mean.
Yeah.
It's just putting it on your terms.
Yeah.
Because when it's on dogs' terms, that's when you get dogs that bark at you because they're demanding.
Yeah.
They're jumping on you for things.
I know.
You know, they're tugging you, pulling you towards the things that they want.
Yeah.
Like that's what it ends up being, right? If you got little 5-pound Yorkies, like who cares? But you don't have a 5-pound Yorkie. Okay, let's take a look at our tank here. So we're gonna do a couple little. Let's try to see if we can fix here real quick. The spacing out. Okay. So what this is gonna look like, and if we don't get it right now, it's fine. But at least so you have an idea. Okay, since we know the problem is going this way, we're gonna really stress going this direction. Is when you start to, if you come this way, and then you turn around to go this way, right? The moment you see Fitz go off, just go into that turn.
Okay.
Back. Once he's here, back, and spaced off. So you're correcting as soon as you see him, give any space. Okay?
Got it.
Try not to get dizzy.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Whenever you're ready.
Everybody? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're fine. Continue your turn. There you go. You got it. Good. Good. Now turn. Tap. Tap. Forward. Tap. Forward. You got it. You got it. Turn, tap, forward, tap, tap, tap. Good, slow. Yep, good. Yep, good, good catch. A little better. Yep, correct. Good. A little better. Yep, yep, yep. Slow to stop. Good. So like that there,
Yeah.
it's not bad. Okay, if you get a tiny bit closer, that's actually pretty good.
Better.
So another thing that you can do is if you're making a ton of turns here, is I start to bump my power. Okay. So what's gonna happen is correct. You know, I'd go into 5 maybe.
Yeah.
I'd give more slack, and I would hover over here to give Fitz the space to go off, right? And then turn as you need to. But as you go higher with the power, what's gonna happen is, with no tension, he's gonna actually start pushing out, okay? And eventually, once you get to the breaking point, he's gonna go pushing out isn't the answer, and you're gonna start seeing him come in. Once you've taught the concept of moving in, then you should be able to most likely go down. But now he's tied together, like, okay, like going out isn't the answer, it's always moving in. Okay? It's a tiny thing, but it's something, of course, you can use to your advantage. I saw on that first stop that you did, Fitz landed right in front of you, right? It's a common problem. I wasn't too worried about it because I think that's the first time I saw him. She put it pretty
Yeah, it might
good.
have been abrupt too by me.
Yeah. So if you're walking with him and you start to see this happen, what you would do is you would just start moving in again, but instead of using your left leg, you would use your right leg, okay? So the reason is, if Fitz starts in front of you and you just start walking with your right leg, and you're gonna walk through him. You're gonna bump him off to the side. Okay. If you move with your left leg, you're gonna push him out like this. So for you, what you did is you did this, right? You walked around him, which is fine. But if this keeps happening, it will become a problem. Okay. So then this is the exception to the right leg rule. I would say heel and move forward with my right leg to purposely bump him off out of my way.
Got it.
So
Yeah,
then he thinks,
like this. Yeah.
yeah, but you walk through him.
Yeah.
Okay. Because some people will like nudge the dog,
Yeah.
but you have to like move through. He'll start to think, oh, if I'm here, I'm in the way.
Yeah.
If I'm out here, I'm too far. Right? And you have to find that balance of sitting in this little pocket here. And once he figures it out, then you don't have to worry about those issues. Okay. If you ever see Fitz cutting over you like this, where he's like leaning over your leg, it's a problem, right? But it's a good problem because it means he wants to be close. Is the way I fix it, it's just randomly turning left, bumping with my right leg again,
Okay.
push him off the bottom. Okay, so then he thinks if I'm too close, I'm going to catch a lead to the face. Okay, eventually you'll find that little pocket where he's close, but he's not too close. Okay, question. For this week, your homework is all this. Now you incorporate all this on your walk.
Yep, I will.
My suggestion is before when you start potty break first,
Okay.
and then I would do heels to stops 5 times, then 5 left turns, and then 5 right pivots,
Okay.
and then start your walk. So you're warming yourself up, okay? Because you have to build your muscle memory.
So 5 left turns, 5 pivots.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the next thing is, as you're walking, you're gonna have to start thinking about timing now. If you're trying to keep it fluid, right? So if you're gonna make a left here,
Yeah.
as I'm walking, in my head, I'm already kind of calculating,
Yeah.
so that I can make that right turn or left turn and make it as seamless as possible. It's gonna be awkward in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got the same route that we've been doing for the past month, so I think we got it.
Other than that, I think he's doing really well. Good. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Next class will most likely work with stay command.
Okay.
And then the fourth class, I would anticipate we'll start working on the color.
Okay.
So you'll need a long 30-foot leash. You can get them on Amazon for like $8 to $12. It's like a nylon leash similar to that.
Yeah, can you have Maria send me a link?
Yeah, I think it might be on my website. We'll send it to you.
Okay. Yeah, just email me a link.
Sure. Okay. Otherwise, good job.
Thanks.
Okay.